Gold and silver. You think you know them, right? For thousands of years, they've been these timeless symbols of wealth. But what if I told you their futures are about to split apart dramatically?
I mean, what if one is destined to just keep on being this unbreachable fortress of financial stability, while the other becomes maybe the most critical, most high-stakes industrial resource on the entire planet? Yeah, let's dig into that.
So, this whole story, this tale of two metals, it's all driven by two completely different and honestly totally opposing realities. We're not talking about code or algorithms here. Their futures are being written by the hard, cold laws of physics, thermodynamics, and geology. Okay, let's really break this down because this right here, this is the core of the whole thing. Gold's future, that's all about psychology. It's about our collective, deep-seated belief that it's a permanent store of wealth. But silver, its future is all about physics. It's about its role as this absolutely essential ingredient in our tech that just gets used up and disappears.
So let's tackle gold first. When you think about gold, don't think consumption, think permanence. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the stuff is indestructible.
And this analogy of a financial caution is just perfect. Seriously, think about it for a second. Pretty much every single ounce of gold that humanity has ever pulled out of the ground still exists. It's not getting eaten up by industry, it doesn't rust, it doesn't tarnish, it just is a totally unwavering standard of power.
So looking forward, there are two huge forces expected to drive gold's value. First, you've got geopolitics. This big trend of de-dollarization. You're seeing nations all over the world moving away from the US dollar and just piling up physical gold as a neutral, safe asset. And second, there's geology. The concept of peak gold is real. We've basically found all the easy stuff. The energy cost to get what's left, it's about to explode. And you can bet that cost is going to show up in its price.
Okay, now let's do a hard pivot and talk about silver. Because if gold's story is all about permanence, silver's is the complete opposite. It's a story of consumption, and it plays by a completely different set of rules.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Gold gets hoarded. Silver gets consumed. Sure, for centuries it was money, just like gold. But today, it's become the absolute must-have fuel for our entire high-tech world.
And here's how it gets consumed. There's this principle, exhaustion by dispersion. See, silver is the best electrical conductor known to man, so we have to use it. But we use it in these tiny, almost dust-like amounts in every solar panel, every EV, every single AI chip. It's just not worth it economically to try and get it back. So we mine it, we use it once, and then it's gone, scattered in a landfill forever.
And you can see where this is going, right? This leads to a massive problem. Mining output is basically flat. But our demand for it, for this electrified, AI-driven world, it's absolutely exploding. Every credible model points to a huge structural deficit, a serious supply shock, coming sometime between 2030 and 2045, a time when industry is going to need way more silver than we can physically pull out of the ground at a price that makes any sense. All right, so we've laid out these two completely opposite destinies. One is hoarded, one is burned. So how do you measure their relationship? How do you spot an opportunity? Well, there's a classic, simple formula for that. It's called the gold to silver ratio. And it's so simple, but that's what makes it so powerful. It completely ignores dollars, euros, yen, whatever. It just measures the two metals directly against each other. It asks one pure, simple question. How many ounces of silver does it take to buy 1 ounce of gold? That's it. And this is where things get really wild. Just look at the disconnect here. Geologically, in the Earth's crust, there's about 17 times more silver than gold. Okay, historically, for thousands of years, the money ratio was fixed right around 15 to 1. Makes sense, right? But in today's financial markets, it swings like a pendulum, anywhere from 40 to 1 all the way up to 90 to 1. It's completely detached from physical reality. So, let's just say, for example, the ratio today is sitting at 85 to 1. That means it takes 85 ounces of silver to get just 1 ounce of gold. That number isn't just a price, it's a signal. And you can almost think of it like a power level reading on a scouter from an anime. And that analogy perfectly sets up the core strategy here. It's a classic financial concept called regression to the mean. The basic idea is that gravity, over time, always pulls that ratio back towards its historical average.
So, when your scouter is screaming a huge power level gap, like 90, it's a signal that silver is statistically way undervalued and has the most potential for a massive power-up, a kind of financial Zenkai boost, if you will.
So here's how that strategy looks in the real world. Step 1. The ratio is high, let's say over 80. That means silver's dirt cheap compared to gold. So you sell 1 ounce of gold to buy 80 plus ounces of silver. Step 2. You just wait. You let financial gravity do its thing. When the ratio falls back down, say below 50, that means silver is now relatively expensive. So step 3, you trade all that silver back for gold. And because the ratio has changed, you end up with more gold than you started with. You've literally increased your physical holdings without putting a single new dollar in.
Now, it's important to remember, this entire 25-year model is based on geology and physics as we currently know them. But there is one massive wild card out there, way on the distant horizon, that could change the game completely. Let's just map this out on a timeline to see how it might play out. The Great Divergence, the real split between gold's psychology and silver's physics, is projected to really get going around 2026. By 2035, that silver supply shock we talked about could become a really serious issue. And then way, way out there, maybe around 2050, you have the true sci-fi wildcard, asteroid mining. So could lassoing some giant metal-rich asteroid and dragging it back to Earth completely break this model? Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. The laws of thermodynamics are a really tough boss to beat. The sheer amount of energy it would take to actually do that, to capture an asteroid and bring all that metal back home, is just staggering. It makes it super unlikely to have any real impact on the market before, say, 2050 or 2060. So for the 25-year forecast we're talking about, it's still just a fringe possibility. And all of this brings us back to that one final question that's really at the heart of this great divergence. As we push deeper and deeper into the 21st century, what will we as a civilization decide is true value? Is it the unbreakable fortress that you can hold on to forever? Or is it the indispensable fuel that you absolutely must burn to power the future?